Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining me from around the world. I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and money mindset coach, coming to you live on the Facebooks, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram over here on my phone. You can kind of see it in the screen on the other live. Anyway, I'm coming to you today because I want to talk about the fear and the doubt that happens when you're about to do something outside your comfort zone. Hi, Chastity. Good morning. Outside your comfort zone, and usually something that is a massive sign that you are creating the life that you want. And Omar, good morning. Hello. Happy Sunday, everyone. So let's talk about fear and doubt. Okay. So when we think about fear and doubt, like what are the things that you fear that you won't be able to accomplish? And if you're watching and you're willing to share this in the comments, please tell me. For me, my biggest fears are around my business, around where I get to live, around like what I'm able to do and the impact I'm able to have with my people. My biggest fears are, about how I can help those who I love. Hi, Ananya. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. That's beautiful. Anyway, but here's the thing about fears and doubts. We only have them around things that really matter to us. Okay. I have never stayed awake at night stressing out about my golf game. I don't play golf and I don't care to learn how to play golf, right? I've also never had a restless, sleepless night over, thinking about how I'm going to get elected to office for something. Don't care. Don't want to run for office. I have never, I'm proving the point, right? There's stuff that I could absolutely do, that I could absolutely freak myself out about. If I really cared about it, it would keep me up at night because it would be the goal, the dream that I wasn't achieving, right? I have never stressed out about the fact that I'm not going to run a marathon. I've never had that commentary running in my head of all the doubts and all the reasons why I could never run a marathon because I have no desire to run a marathon. The doubt monster that lives in your head that spews up all the reasons why you won't be able to get clients, why you won't be able to start a business, why you won't be able to get that partner or that house or live the life that you really, really want. That voice only pops up around stuff that calls to you, that speaks to your soul. It only comes up around things that you are actually destined to go for in your life. All right. That voice is, your brain's job essentially is to keep you safe, right? And oftentimes the things that we want the most require us to go further outside our comfort zone than we have before, right? To get somewhere that you've never been, you have to do things you've never done before. And that's really frightening to our brains, right? Because, thousands of years ago when we were tribal and nomadic and had to be part of a group to survive, if you did something that was outside your comfort zone, you could die. Literally, that's how it would go. If you were to try berries that no one had ever tested before, that could end badly for you, right? If you were to go off the trail, of where, however your group migrates, you could fall off a cliff. If you were to act a different way within the tribe, people might react badly to you and kick you out. And then you're alone in the wilderness all by yourself, which is what alone means. and I mean, that means that all food gathering is on you. All shelter making is on you. All protection is on you. And what if you get injured? What if you get sick? There's no one there to care for you. Omar, important topic. Mine is making a big mistake either at work or my program, a quiz show. Ooh, quiz show. I want to know more about that. Tell if you're comfortable sharing. I'd love to hear about that. But yes, yeah, your fear is making a massive mistake at work or in your program. Those that tells me that you care a lot about those things. That tells me that if you got to the end of your life and you hadn't given it your all, and you hadn't pushed yourself outside your comfort zone, and you hadn't like gone for that next rung up and that next rung up and that next rung up, you're going to massively regret it. My clients start with me for a whole slew of reasons. A lot of them want to do the work that they love, that they just discovered. This is really common for the coaches in my world. Like most of them have gone through their own kind of personal transformation, realize that there's this job that helps other people do those kinds of transformations. And they realize like, that is what I'm called to do. That is my purpose here on earth. And they go and get trained for it. And then they usually pause, right? They pause because they're like, well, how do I actually go and make this my work? Right? Because you've never done it before, right? Of course, like if you've never done it before, you're not going to know exactly how to do it. But for those people who like that is their calling, they can't imagine doing anything else for their work once they discover it. Copywriters can be the same. Someone who really enjoys writing and realizes, wait, I can make a living doing this. It's really hard for someone who's discovered their calling to go back and do something else. I know this because when I discovered coaching, I could no longer be in sales. Right. I was really good at sales. I won awards. I like broke records for most of the companies that I worked for. I hit my goal. I was always like an awesome member of the team until I discovered something else. I just couldn't do it anymore. Omar, of course, I do a quiz show called Zoom Pretty, a category with point values like Jeopardy. Oh my God, I am obsessed with that. I'm so excited to learn more. And Stephen Doyle, welcome from Ireland. Hello. All right. So the fears that you have, the doubts that come up, those are all a massive sign from the universe that whatever it is that they're around is something that you are meant to do, right? And we know that stuff like that, those are the things that if we don't do, we're going to regret when we're on our deathbed. We're going to be laying there in hospice and we're going to turn to the nurse and we're going to say, you know what? I should have done this. I can't believe I didn't. I wasted my life. I could have gone and done this thing and I didn't. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. My birthday's tomorrow. And if you haven't heard, one of the things I'm doing for my birthday is I'm actually gifting free one-on-one sessions to anyone who joins BYOB Beginner, either a 2-hour session for those who pay in full or a 1-hour session for anyone else who does the payment plan. There's a max number on that. So you want to sign up as soon as possible if you want one of those. Anyway, but I'm coming up on 35 tomorrow, which for some reason feels like a big deal because I'm firmly in the second half of my 30s. And there are things that I still haven't done yet. And it's really starting to freak me out because it's funny, like in your 30s, like things start hurting. You're sore and your body really does start changing, like age starts catching up with you. And not like I'm not feeling ancient or anything, but I know that there are things that I'm going to have energy for in the next 10 years that like beyond that, I might just be a little too tired for. And I don't want to be too tired for these things. I want to go full force into them. And the only things that have been holding me back are fear and doubt. Hi, DJ. Welcome. Let me see. Oh, happy birthday. 3 of my family members have May birthdays. Oh, Omar. So you're either surrounded by Tauruses or Geminis. I apologize on behalf of the Geminis. We can be a little nutty. Anyway, so what do you do instead? If you have all these fears and all these doubts and you're freaking out about, how do I go and do this thing? Or what if I go and do this thing and I massively fail? And this is the fear that comes up with most of my clients, right? And comes up with me too. I'm not pretending to be holier than thou here. Okay. What do you do about it? Well, you basically just have to stop being a fucking weenie about it. You just have to go and do it. Right? Because here's the thing about fear is it doesn't go away until you prove to your brain that you can do it and not die, right? Our brains have not evolved as quickly, as fast as our world has, right? So the fears that our brain experiences on a day-to-day basis, the doubts that it makes up, you know, the things that it makes us hesitate on. Our brain thinks that it's saving us from life and death situations, right? Our brain can't tell the difference between like, oh wow, there's a tiger over there and it's about to bite me and I could die. And the fear of like launching a new program and telling people that you dare to believe in yourself and dare to start this business where you're helping other people. And hi Kelly, thank you. um, and that's really, really hard to get over, right? You can't think yourself out of that. You can't meditate yourself out of that. You can't read yourself out of that. I know you've tried. I have too. Tried to do all the things. The only thing that effectively works to deal with that fear is to just go and do it anyway. It's the only way. Because your brain is going to be convinced that doing that scary thing is going to be life or death until you show it that you can do it and not die, right? Until you show it that you can do it and fail at it and not die, and you can do it and succeed at it and not die. Okay. That's the only way you're going to move past this fear. Now, the biggest fear that new business owners face is, what if I put myself out there and no one signs up? That's that I giggle because like I have that fear too. I had that fear when I first started and I launched things that no one ever signed up for and it sucks. And then I launched stuff. I launched a couple things that like only one person signed up for. And let me tell you, that's nerve wracking when you're launching a group and they know that they're signing up for a group and then it's only them, because you feel like you're admitting, oh, I'm not that good at this, right? You're worried that they're going to think, what did I sign up for if no one else wanted this? Right? Here's the thing. The only one who expects you to sell everything out is you. You're the only person who expects that. If you launch something and no one signs up for it, your instinct is going to be to assume that you're bad at this, that you absolutely suck, that the program that you designed is terrible, that no one wants it. When really, that's a whole lot of meaning that you are attaching to some data, right? The data is that no one signed up. Okay. The data is also you posted X amount of times. The data is also that you shared, X, Y, and Z, M, and LOP about the program. The data is also you posted these things to this social media account or whatever, right? There are so many different factors that could have gone wrong along the way. All right. It doesn't necessarily mean that your program sucks. It doesn't necessarily mean that no one likes you or that you're terrible at this. Like it could have just been your marketing that didn't work, right? It could have just been that you were posting to the wrong social media platform. Like your audience just wasn't there. It could also mean that you just didn't post enough, right? You weren't straightforward enough. One of the things that I am so careful to go over with my clients, both one-on-one and in the Build Your Own Business Group program, is all the foundational steps that will ensure that you are saying the right things when you go to market something, that you are creating a program that people actually want. Whoa, I just cracked my finger there. That you understand where you need to show up to get in front of the right people, right? And to give you confidence that you know exactly what to post so that you aren't there worrying about, okay, I have to post today, I have to post today, I have to post today. I have no idea what to post. What should I post? Right? Because that's exhausting. And just so you know, like that happens to all of us. Hello. Unless you're a sociopath and you don't have any fears, it happens to you too. I hope I don't have a lot of sociopaths watching. Just if you are, just like leave now. Omar, I assume you're doing the laughing, smiling face at my comment about Geminis and Tauruses. Anyway, so you have to do it anyway. You have to face your fear. You have to just go for it, right? And if you're not sure how to do it, there is no shame in asking for help, in investing in either a mentor, a program, whatever. You know, if you're wanting to start a service-based business, like that's exactly what I specialize in. You know, if you're wanting to start an Etsy store, there's a woman on LinkedIn, and I'm forgetting her name, but she specializes in that. Invest in working with her. If you're wanting to be a virtual assistant, Catherine Gladwin is incredible. Like she helps train virtual assistants, and she's been one for a really long time. If you're wanting to be a realtor, you know, Tanya Bugby is an incredible real estate coach. If you want to change your career, you know, on and on and on and on and on. There's so many ways you can invest in help. There's so many ways you can find a mentor and get guidance so that like you're less likely to like step outside your comfort zone and fail massively. Rohit, hi, welcome. So you want to set yourself up for success. Like that's it. To go someplace you've never been, you have to do things you've never done, right? Expecting yourself to know how to do those things perfectly on the first try with no guidance, with no training, with no experience, that is not just foolish, it is massively unkind to yourself. Stop being a jerk to yourself. All right. I speak French. I mean, like, don't test me on it because I haven't really spoken it in a really long time. But I lived in France for 6 months. I studied it. I passed the government recognized fluency exam, the DELF B2, and I mean, it's very rusty now. But whenever I go back to it, like I can remember. I wouldn't have been able to pass that exam if I hadn't studied with people who knew French, right? I could have read every single book on the French language in the world and gotten my pronunciation wrong. And actually, let's talk about that. There are books that teach French. If I had just expected myself to be able to speak French without ever reading a book, without ever speaking to someone who speaks French, that's insane. That's insane. I would just be making up gobbledygook, right? There's no chance in the world that I would just stumble upon knowing how to speak French, not having ever studied it. And hi, the Gazelle, welcome. So it's the same thing when you are doing something that you have never done before, expecting yourself to know how to do it and to be able to do it well, and not just well, perfect. And in your business, to not just do it well and perfect, but to make massive amounts of money from it and help a ton of people with it. That's asking to be disappointed. That's asking to have your fears and your doubts all confirmed that you can't do this. That's just setting yourself up to confirm that you are not meant to do this when I know that you are. The fact that you're so afraid of doing this, that you have all these doubts about yourself being able to do this, that tells me that this is the only thing you should be doing. That tells me that this is your calling. This is what you were put on this earth to do. And if you don't do it, like that's so selfish. That is so selfish, right? Because you have this gift, and this gift is something that other people need from you. And if you don't put yourself out there and offer your gift to the world, there's so many people who are going to go without that, who need that, whatever it is. Exactly. What are we talking today? We are talking about facing our fears and doing the things that we have the most doubts about, because they're usually the thing that that we are most called to do on this earth, and the things that we will regret the most on our deathbeds. Okay. So some things that I also will not be worried about on my deathbed. I will never regret not jumping out of a plane with a parachute strapped to my back. No, thank you. I have a general rule that like anything where I could potentially like pee my pants from fear, I just don't want to do. It's just not my thing. I am never going to regret not opening a restaurant. Okay. I've worked in restaurants. They are miserable for people who, oh my God, for people who want to open a restaurant and have worked in restaurants before. I mean, you just must really enjoy being punished. Like it's the most painful thing. Oh God, it's awful. There are so many things that like I've never wanted to do, and I don't have any doubts that come up. I don't have any commentary happening in my brain telling me that I can't do it because I don't care about it. The only things that I have massive doubts around are the things that I most want to do, the things that I most want to accomplish, right? And you do too. That is the number one sign that you are called to do something. So here's what you can do. Do it anyway. Pretend that you believe in yourself. You don't even need to actually believe in yourself. You literally just have to pretend like for 30 minutes a day that you believe that you can go and do this thing. That's it. 30 minutes a day. You can do anything for 30 minutes a day. Well, maybe not planks. Like planks, probably don't want to do 30 minutes a day if you've never done a plank before, right? But you can pretend to believe in yourself for 30 minutes a day. I guarantee you can do that, right? The Gazelle, courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, and not the absence of fear. Mark Twain, 100%. Yes. Yeah. We talk about being brave a lot in my world because starting a business is something that absolutely requires bravery. Bravery is not the absence of fear. Okay. There's no way to get rid of fear. Fear is always going to be there. Right. And here's the funny and fucked up thing about fear is that like you can be terrified of something and go and do it and conquer your fear and no longer have fear about that. But you know what? That fear just shifts to something else. A new level, new devil, baby. Like it is always going to be present. There's always going to be something that you are massively terrified of. Something that I did in the last year that was so scary for me was my podcast. Now I come live all the time. I have no problem. And I used to be terrified of going live also, just so you know. I can go live every day of the week. I can come up with stuff in like 2 minutes. I can post about it. I can go live. I can talk for, 20 to 30 to 40 minutes all by myself. I have no problem with that. But the idea that I would just record my voice and I wouldn't be able to like talk with my hands and have expressions on my face that people could see and like, glean my real meaning from. That was terrifying to me. And the idea that like there's this platform that I don't quite understand how people discover stuff, and that they were going to have this experience and I wasn't going to be able to have this kind of feedback that I get from the comments here. Oh God, like that seemed really scary. I was so sick to my stomach that first weekend, that first Sunday where Neil Valio and I released my first podcast episode. I text messaged my whole family, all my friends. And as soon as I hit send, I felt like this pit in my stomach, like, oh my God, like they're going to listen to this. It was terrifying to me. And it's so funny because like, I come on here all the time. I'm not able to edit myself after the fact. You guys know this. Yeah, it's just something like, sorry, I'm getting text messages and it's distracting me. Anyway, so that fear is always going to move to something else and move to something else and move to something else. And you can't control it. But what you can do is you can control how you react to it, right? If you choose to shrink back and lean away from doing the thing and say, you know what, I'm going to choose my fear over everything else, and I'm not going to go for the thing, you are setting yourself up for a life of regret. Plain and simple. But if you choose to lean into the fear and go for it anyway, even if you fail, even if you fall flat on your face and it doesn't go anywhere and nothing good happens, you're never going to regret that. Never. Because you tried, because you put yourself out there and you found out. What's that term? Like fuck around and find out? Yes. Yes. Let's all fuck around and find out for our greatest good. Okay. Stop being a weenie about it already and just go for it. Anyway, if you need help, if you are on your service-based business journey and you have no idea what you don't know, and you are playing the guessing game and you're so afraid you're going to screw it up and not have any clients, my Build Your Own Business Beginner Program starts July 1st. And in honor of my birthday, anyone who signs up gets a bonus one-on-one session with me. Okay. This is almost Either a third, just over a third, or almost 75% as much as the whole program in value. So it's something that you can absolutely spend a couple $1,000s on, a 2-hour session with me. It's a bonus for this program that's only just short of $3,000, right? Let me see. Rohit, just want to make sure I'm catching up with the comments. Do you think businesses are getting more and more micro as client expectations are getting micro? What is fear exactly for you in any one attribute? Oh, okay. So fear for me is that it's that voice in my head that's telling me all the worst case scenarios that can happen. Right. And that fear gets going, and it's like my shoulders start getting like inch up to my ears, like everything starts getting tight and I start getting tense. And because my brain is so focused on everything that could possibly go wrong, I shrink further and further away from the thing that I really, really want to do. Fear can be an actual like bodily response. You can start sweating. You can start shaking. Like it can literally release cortisol and adrenaline in your body when you're so afraid. And reacting is fear. I mean, reacting, not necessarily. I actually disagree with you on that. Reacting is fear. Reacting is reacting. We react to bright light. We go like this. We react to, a squirrel running out into the middle of the road, right? Like we don't want to hit it. We react to someone smiling at us. How hard is it when someone looks you in the eye and genuinely smiles at you? How hard is it to not smile back? Right? That's a reaction, right? There's a difference between reacting and responding. Okay. So when you are facing a fear, the reaction is the first immediate thing that your body wants to go to, right? Your body and your mind wants to go to. So it could be like leaning back. It could be stop talking. It could be run away, right? The difference between reacting and responding is literally just a breath. All right. So you realize and noticing, right? So when you react, you're not actually thinking about what's going on. When you train yourself to respond instead of react, you notice the thing, you notice in yourself like this inclination to react in a certain way. And you just breathe through it. And you get to choose either to move forward with that initial reaction or do something different. And I urge you to teach yourself, to train yourself to take that breath, because often the most powerful thing we can do in those moments is to opt out of our immediate reaction to something and lean into our response, the response that our higher self, our braver self wants us to do. Can you operate your fear? I mean, that's I could take that question to mean anything. Like, can you control your fear? Not necessarily. Like it's there. You can control how you respond to it. If you're talking about like using your fear for your own benefit, like, yeah, sure, you can make fear your driving force for all your motivators. But that sounds awful. Why would we want to do that? No. And hi, David. Welcome. You're on vacation. You're joining the live. We're just talking about fear and doubt and doing it anyway, right? Because fears and doubts should never be the things that hold us back, right? Actually, nothing should hold us back. We shouldn't and I know I'm a coach and I shouldn't be using the word should. I just shouldn't myself. But if you want something bad enough, go for it. That's it. Plain and simple. Go for it. Like, short of causing anyone else harm, go for it. Hello, keepyourequity.co. It's really hard to glean what your actual name is from your username. So I'm just going to call you that. Anyway, thank you all for joining. I've been live for about a half hour now. So I am going to release everyone back to your Sunday. I hope this has been useful. I hope this has been that like fire under your butt, kick in the pants to just go and do the thing that you're afraid of. The worst thing that's going to happen is it's not going to work out. Like, that's it. Versus the worst thing that can happen if you don't do it is you're going to die with massive amounts of regret. That's a gazillion times worse. Don't do that. All right. I'm going to go and get a ton of stuff done because my birthday's tomorrow and I don't want to do any work tomorrow. And I'm really, I'll be emailing. If you're on my emailing list, you'll be getting some reminders this week about my gift that I'm giving everyone who invests in the Build Your Own Business Group program. And I'll be posting about it as well. So you'll see me online a lot this week. Anyway, David landed this morning. Relying on your content to keep me awake to avoid jet lag. No pressure. Well, I'm so sorry, but I'm ending this now so you can go and watch previous lives. I did do a live from the hot dog costume yesterday, the day before. So go and watch that. That's plenty entertaining. Anyway, love you all so much. I want to say thank you to everyone. Chastity, Omar, Ananya, who I still hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Stephen, Rohit, and David, and then the Gazelle, and keepyourequity.co, and DJ Fonz, I think, and Rest and Relax Boston. Thank you all for joining. I hope you found this super helpful. And if there's something that you are going to like face the fear and go and do in your life, I would love to hear about it. Just shoot me a DM. Tell me what's going on. I know that I am cheering you on, even if you don't tell me about it. All right. Love you all so much. I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and money mindset coach. Have a great Sunday, everyone.